What's going on, everybody? I want to welcome you all to the first ever 40K Fridays on Blue Eyes Banter. Yep, that's my YouTube channel. Subscribe, check it out every Friday from now on. We are going to have a video directly related all to 40K for all you nerds out there. Now, if you're not into 40K, you probably don't want to watch any more of this video. It's going to be totally full on the nerd all the way. Now, if you know what 40K is, Warhammer 40,000, and you've had a slight interest in it, you just don't know what it is, well, keep watching. Who knows? You might pick it up. If not, now something I do want to mention, already giggling, before I get into today's video is I had no clue that you actually have to put a disclaimer on your YouTube videos if you swear. If you use the word like fuck, you got to put a disclaimer. Warning: this shit has got explicit language in it. Just in case some of the younger kids out there end up watching the video or whatnot, not something I like to do around children, to swear. So if you have kids that are younger than, I say, like 13, probably don't want to watch. I'll try to keep the language down, but that's about it. Now, I'm going to jump right into the 40K. Now, for you guys who don't really know who I am, I've been in the hobby a really, really long time. I'd say about 15 years. I started with model cars. I used to enter them in competitions, everything. I learned a lot of the skills that I learned from my father building model cars. I translated those over to 40K, which was, I had a huge leg up on a lot of people. When it came to starting the hobby, I already knew like a lot of the basics and everything. I've worked for GW. I've entered in 5 Golden Demon competitions. I've missed the last couple of years just because there's no longer one in Canada. This fuck you for GW for thanking you. I'm not going to thank you, actually. Fuck you for screwing over all the people in Canada that used to go to the one in Toronto. Now we got to travel even farther. Assholes. Anyways, yeah, so I've entered the Golden Demon 5 times. I'm an 11-time Golden Demon finalist. I've come really close to scoring a bronze Golden Demon on 3 occasions. Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, and that shit can get explosive. You know what? Not winning the Golden Demon has definitely motivated me and pushed me to be a better hobbyist and to push the skills of my painting to levels that I never ever thought I could reach. Now, one example of that is this Carmine Dragon. Now, I've been working on this dragon for the better part of 2 years. I had it given to me as a gift from a friend of mine because he just loves the work that I do for him. He's a happy client. So I've been picking away at this. Now, I started painting this a long time ago. I took it to GW, I was painting it there and everything, and I just wasn't happy with it. So I started over. Stripped it, went right back to the beginning, reprimed it, everything. And started over. Now, the colors that I used on this model, I did use a lot of colors, but I also did a lot of blending. I used Xerxes purple, Emperor's Children. I also used Gene Stealer purple, Mornfang brown, Deathclaw brown, Jackbone from P3, the old Bleach bone, Ushtabi bone, Skull white, the new White Scar, Abaddon black, Chaos black. Those are the same thing. I've used a lot of colors on this model. Now, to give you guys a close-up, because I'm holding it like way back here, you can't see nothing, we'll bring it up to the camera. Hopefully it doesn't block my beautiful face. And I'm kidding. So on this model, I did a lot of blending. I've changed my painting style up a lot over the last few years. It's been evolving, getting better and better. I fell in love with the color purple on this model. I don't know why. I just think it looks really, really badass and cool. As you can see, the majority of the bottle's body is all done in purples. I tried to use the Emperor's Children pink as mainly a highlight color on it. And then blended it with white to bring it up and give it some of the lighter details. I did try to paint depth into this model as well. Not easy to do on something so large, but I think I accomplished it really well. If you guys take a look at the base here, still have to touch up the display piece that it's actually on. Really happy with how the egg turned out. Looks really, really good. You can see the definition and everything, especially with the claws. I'm really happy with all the bone parts, like this claw up here and everything, and the fangs in the mouth. Couple colors that I used red to draw your eye towards it because it's the only red on the model. I also used blue in the eyes, so they're the only 2 spots on it. really happy with it. I consider it done for now. I do have to go back over it with a fine-tooth comb to get it competition worthy. Now, something I really suggest for all you people out there who've never ever entered a competition, when you think you're done your model, you're not. Now, for veterans out there, you can agree with me, you can't. It doesn't really matter. This is my opinion. I truly, when I think a model's done, it's never really done. You actually have to go back over it, and you will find things that you've messed up on before in the past. It's not something to get overly concerned about. We all make mistakes when it comes to painting models. It's not the end of the world. But go back over your models if you plan on entering them in a competition. Even if you painted them a long time ago, go back over them. Just make sure there's no mistakes, touch up little things, you know, just go that little extra bit. You'll be surprised at how well you do. Now, another thing on entering competitions. If you ever get the chance to talk to the judges, I do recommend asking them as many questions as you can. Find out what you did wrong, why you placed where you did, things you could improve on. And even better, if there's people there that are actually professional painters, like Vincent Houdon from Team Montreal, who's a really badass painter. I was lucky enough to spend 3 hours with him at a games day and learned a shit ton of fucking knowledge from him, changed the way I painted. So do everything you can to talk to these people and learn from them. It's all about learning and developing your hobby skills. Now on this model particularly, I only used 3 brushes. You're probably going to be shocked. I used a standard brush, detail brush, and a fine detail brush. I took my time with it. There's a lot of hours into this model. I'm really happy with it. I will be taking it with me to go to Games Day this year, so if you're going, I plan to see you all there. Now, last year I was going to go to Games Day, and I kind of got let down a little bit. I had this Spartan army that I was working on. I thought it was wicked cool. I'd won numerous painting competitions with it, numerous tournament best painted. I spent 3 years working on this army, and I went to Armies on Parade, and I was beat out. And not by, it was more that, you know what, it doesn't matter why I was beat, I got beat. And I was like determined, I was really convinced that I was going to win, and I let myself down. So, I sold that army. Believe it or not, I sold it to a good friend of mine. I know it's in a great home. He's going to take care of it and love it, and he's even got Big Green. It's actually, Big Green is one of Cyborg. If you guys are familiar with Cyborg miniatures, it's one of his original sculpts. It was super hard to come by, very, very rare. I paid a pretty penny for it. So, now that I'm done my cigarette, which was distracting me, I shouldn't smoke in the videos. It's a terrible habit. Don't fucking smoke, people. You'll regret it. I am working on a lot of stuff. I got this battle wagon, like I mentioned, I've been working on. Also some Ludas. This Lizard Man. Pretty cool. Nurgle Space Marines. So I got, oh, he just went flying. I got a lot on the go. Now, I don't want to just show you all about the stuff I'm working on and everything. That's not really interesting. You know, you see it all over Facebook. People are working on all sorts of shit all the time. Mentioning Facebook, though, I do want to let you guys know there's a competition, painting competition going on the biggest 40K group on Facebook. There's 10,000 members. I am an admin, so is Luke, and so is my buddy Max. Max, I gotta give you a shout out, buddy. You're doing an absolutely great job. Keep it up. I can't wait to see your entry this month. And speaking of entry, it's called the Massacre Over the Orb of Eternity. It's a painting conversion challenge. Now, the first part of this month's challenge, you gotta build a model, take a picture, put it on the group, and then paint it, obviously. Paint it, enter it. There'll be a winner at the end of this month. Now, there's no prizes or anything like that. It's all for fun and everything. I just want to see what the turnout would be like. And it's actually been a really, really good turnout. So if you are in that competition, get on your model, build your model, paint it, get it up on there, get some positive feedback, and we'll go from there. Now, I'll give you a little bit of a foresight, whatever you want to call it, into next month's challenge. Now, this month, you have to build a guy on a 25 or 45 millimeter base. Next month, you're no 25. It's gone. Get rid of it. 45 or 60 mil base. This is going to let you bring in those big monstrous creatures like Tyranids and Dreadnoughts, Hellbrutes, anything that would go on a 60 millimeter base. I even dare one of you guys to make an enemy, an Imperial Guard frickin' heavy weapons platform. That'd be hilarious. These are the enemies. These guys are going after the orb. How are they going to get around with a big fucking gun? I don't get it. They're fucking done. Anyways, when that's done, the next month after that, without giving too much away, you're going to have to build something these guys are going to fight on. It involves the orb. But remember, nobody can hold an orb. Only the Necrons hold the orb. They don't actually hoard the old. They hold the resurrection orbs. That shit keeps them alive, gets them coming back. Not too familiar with the rules of Necrons. Never played them. Have played against them. But so let's dive into the hobby a little bit more instead of me talking about all this other stuff and everything. I wanted to give you guys some tips and tricks on saving money when it comes to the hobby. Now, I've been in this a long time. I used to buy GW paint, glues, everything. Still buy GW paint. Swear by the stuff. Love it. Vallejo makes great paints as well. Don't limit yourself to just GW products. So, in an effort to save money, I went out and I found cheap alternatives to building stuff. One of those things is going to be one thing I find it crazy is how much you can find at Dollarama or a dollar store. Now, for the most part nowadays, most dollar stores carry all the same stuff. There's generally anything you find at one, you can find at the other. So, on that note, I'll start off with one of the greatest things I've ever found from the dollar store is super glue. Now you're gonna be like, super glue from the dollar store? Really? That shit ain't gonna work. What the only thing that'd probably be good for holding together is your thumb to your other finger. No, not in this case. This glue is actually made by Titan. Sometimes it's made by a different company. You get 4 tubes for $1. That's a steal. So for $5, you can get 20 tubes. And the great thing about it is if you use 1 tube, which is small, you run out or you leave it out overnight, we've all done it, you haven't wasted or killed the tip on your other glue bottle. This is the thing I don't like about the big GW super glue bottles. They're just too big. You can ruin models with them. It's all about how much pressure you use with them. And especially for a new kid or